our guys, I knew going into that game we're going to focus on what the Bison had to do and not what the Bears were doing. So when we go back and look at the tape, things that really stuck out to us, one was how fast we played on defense. How I thought this was one of our better games defensively from start to finish. A guy that really stuck out of playing a phenomenal football game for us on defense was Travis Beck. Travis was all over the place, and we put him, once again, he played our nickel spot because of CJ being down, so he had to play our nickel spot in our 5 DB package, and he had to play our inside linebacker and our base stuff. And the things that Travis is able to do mentally really allows us to be really versatile on defense. And then he played exceptionally well. Obviously, Kyle was a difference maker in there. And then we'd flipped Brian and Nate from their defensive tackle and nose tackle position. We'd flipped them this week, so Brian actually ended up being the 3 technique or the D tackle, and Nate became the nose tackle this week. So that was a little something that was just different that worked out. But I know that something we're going to move forward and look at again this week. Offensively, Carson had the one throw to start the game that I think he'd like to have back on the first interception. But after that, I thought he had a really great day and was really pinpoint accurate. And some guys made plays. That was so neat to see. Kerry Woods made a couple plays, and Tyler Rice and Eric Perkins and Trevor and Zach. We had a lot of guys outside that made plays. Then you throw in the fact that Connor Wentz and Bonnet were able to step up, especially in Kevin Vodelin's absence. Really was a sound day for us offensively. So we were really pleased, but we got to turn the page and focus on Youngstown. That is going to be a really formidable opponent coming in here. I'm sure they feel they have to win to get in, and I think that's probably the case. We probably have to win to continue to do what we want to do as far as home field and some of those things, as well as achieve our ultimate goal, and that's to win the Missouri Valley Conference. And that's what we set out to do on August 2nd when we all arrived here, and we have that in front of us with the opportunity to play at home. So open up to questions.
Why the switch, I guess, with Shotzi and Tanquay? Was that something you just wanted to tinker with? Or?
Goose had talked about it. Nick Gazer had talked about trying to maybe utilize Brian a little bit more. Our 3 technique, you think of the 3 techniques last year, or last few years, it was Levon Perry. Prior to that was Gratz. So we wanted to try to get Brian, maybe he's a little bit more explosive, being a little bit older kid than Nate being a redshirt freshman. So we just wanted to try to put Brian in a few more positions to make plays. And they both have been playing well, but we wanted to try to up their level of play, and I thought it worked for us.
So when you put Morgan in, then would you move Tanquay back to the 3?
You bet. Okay. Yep. You bet. Nate, they've both played either position. We just wanted to, utilize maybe Brian's explosiveness and his experience probably more than anything. They're both about the same weight, size, but just Brian's experience we wanted to be able to utilize because people were starting to attack our 3 technique side.
Coach, I know you spread the bronze to some other people, but it also seemed like the offense in general was maybe more open than it's been recently. Is that correct? And if so, is it something you were doing or something they gave you?
I think it was more what they gave us. We went in with the idea of where we're going to run the football, and I know John had 170-plus yards, and even into that third quarter, they just kept stacking 9 guys in the box all the time that they were forcing us into having to throw it probably even more in the second half than we wanted to. It ended up being a good thing for us because it did open some things up. It opened up some players. It opened up some playmaking ability. We were able to move Zach around. Zach wasn't always on the back side. He was on the front side of some things formationally. So I think it was more by what Missouri State did with them blitzing us so much that we had to keep loosening them up, and they were giving us the deep ball.
Coach, you talk about playing a desperate team like Youngstown, that's something you can take advantage of, knowing they have to win, that they may try to be, they take more chances in the game on Saturday?
I think they'll probably play with their style and what they've done, what we've seen on film the last 4 or 5 weeks. I think that maybe makes the team a little bit better too. Look what it did for Northern Iowa in the last 3 weeks. They've been playing in that mode of a must-win situation. So, I don't know if it gives us any specific advantage. I think the biggest advantage for us is being able to come back to the Fargo Dome and play at home. But you watch Youngstown, and boy, they're a dangerous football team. They've got tremendous skilled kids. I really like their running back. They're playing a true freshman quarterback that's having a really good year. And we've got to be able to slow those guys down offensively because they're really explosive.
You surprised how poised he is already as a true freshman, just hanging back there and making
Boy,
reads.
he is a cool character back there. I've been really impressed with his ability to stand in the face of pressure, to see all the different pictures and looks because, the defenses in this league are pretty sophisticated, and he's seeing pictures. And they're a no-huddle offense, which probably helps him because gives him 30, 35 seconds to decipher what your look is. They can talk upstairs, make their changes at the line of scrimmage. You're going to see an awful lot of that. Our kids are going to be in a stance for the entire play clock. Now, their guys are going to be in their stance for the entire play clock as well, but I think it gives that kid a comfort level to say, is it a two high, is it a one high look with the safeties, is there pressure from the boundary, pressure from the field? I think if you're coming out of a huddle and asking that kid to do that in the last 10 seconds of a play clock, it'd be much more difficult, but I've been really, really impressed with his poise.
How do you think he's going to handle the atmosphere at the Fargo Dome?
Well, that'll be interesting. We've got to go back. We haven't quite gotten that far of what he's faced from a noise factor. I know going into Illinois State, that had to be pretty loud. I'm not sure what it was like at South Dakota State crowd-wise, but he's probably had some environments. And they've got a new indoor facility, so I'm sure that they'll crank the noise in there for him. But we're pretty sure it's going to have to be on silent snap count, which hopefully gives us a little bit of an advantage.
What have you noticed about Ruiz and Webb that have made them so effective as running backs?
Well, they're a great 1-2 punch tandem. Ruiz is a great player. He was dynamite last year as a true freshman, and he's got speed to beat you outside, but he's got great power to beat you inside. And then I've really been impressed with Webb, elusiveness, quickness, and those two guys. I think I looked at it today. Between the two of them have 30-plus catches, so they're doing a great job of getting the football to them out of the backfield. They've really spread the ball around exceptionally well, and utilizing those kids out of the backfield creates another weapon for them.
Does it add anything to the game knowing that you guys clinched at home against them, clinched against them last year and have an opportunity to do it again this year?
Didn't even think about that, to be honest with you. It's the next team on the schedule, and it's a really good team, and we get a chance to play at home with all the goals and all the things we have and we've talked about for the last 8 months in front of us. And so I know our guys will be really excited to get back in here.
You think you're going to get a victory will get you the home field advantage in the playoffs? Is that what the message is to the team?
I believe so. We hope so. That's not going to be our decision, but we hope that our full body of work over 12 games with the big FBS win and beating a lot of top 25 teams, that we would hope that we would be rewarded. But we got to take care of business first.
Kyle Emanuel has been a steady force for the defense. Over the last 4 years, you've gotten to see him grow. What can you say about his development and where he's at right now?
Oh, each year he's gotten obviously better and better. He's gotten stronger. He's gotten quicker. He's bought in fully to Coach Kramer and the strength and conditioning program. And then the other thing is he's such a smart football player. Not only does he know our defense inside and out, but he knows the opponent's offense inside and out by the end of the week. So based on backfield set, based on the tackles alignment, the guards, leaning back, whatever it may be, he really is a cerebral guy that makes sure that he's going to go into every game fully prepared with every weapon that he has. And just to see him grow, and he's playing more plays this year too. He was a guy that was in a rotation the last few years because of all the great defensive ends and the depth we had. Well, we don't have quite as much depth as we've had in the past, so Kyle's playing 55, 60 plays a game rather than 35.
CJ Smith back for you this week?
I haven't seen CJ today, but I'll see him this afternoon, and let's hope so.
Sounds like Austin's probably not in good shape.
It doesn't
the rest of
look
the
like that is. It looks like he's probably going to have some surgery, but I'm waiting on that too.
You mentioned after the game that Hegel and Dudzik were both banged up, and then Vodlin got banged up, and Austin. Are the injuries starting to stack up a little bit for you, or are you concerned about that?
Yeah, I'm definitely concerned about it. The injuries are definitely stacking up on us, and hey, give everything to Hegel and Duds, because not many guys would have maybe played through the injuries that those guys are going through with shoulders. We were really fortunate that we were able to control the game up front with our down 4 and our linebackers, and we were able to sustain a lot of our cover 2 stuff to try to eliminate some hits on those guys. In talking to the trainer, they both should be much stronger this week. I talked to both of them yesterday, and they both felt much better than they did the previous Saturday or the previous Sunday, so I'm hoping they'll get a little bit stronger. But everybody's banged up, and that's why it's so important for us to lay it all on the line for this week, find a way to get a win so that we can get an open week and get a break.
Your relationship with this senior class, you came here, a lot of those guys were redshirt freshmen. Your emotions that you're going to have on Saturday going under the helmet.
Yeah, that'll be tough. You're right. I feel like I came in with this class. You know, I was the first kid I met was Christian when Coach brought me in and had me talk to some of the defensive backs and stuff. And then just that whole first year of these guys being young guys and me learning who Travis Beck was and Carlton Littlejohn and go on down the line. And then to be able to be the defensive coordinator for a number of those guys on defense for the last 2 years, I've gotten to know those guys so well. Then you flip it over from my being the head coach in the spring, being with the offense so much and being around those seniors on offense, whether it's the offensive lineman or whether it's Croc or the wide receivers with Trevor and Zach. It's been so much fun to be around those guys. It's going to be emotional. There's no question. I'm an emotional guy, and you know, it's those guys. And I've told you guys this. I'm in the position I'm in because of those seniors, you know, and all the guys obviously before them that were seniors. But this class especially has been a group that has kind of put me in the position I'm in.
Do you envision Eric Perkins maybe being your return guy again this weekend, or are you gonna let see?
I would think so. You know, I would think so, just based on trying to take some of that off of Christian, and we'll see how CJ is. You know, CJ's pretty dynamic back there, so if CJ can go, we'll probably use CJ. But I was so happy for Perk that, you know, I knew it was a windy day. Once he caught the first one, and I know the first one dropped or the second one dropped and it rolled a little bit on us, and I just, once he caught it, I knew he was going to gain some confidence, and we blocked much better too. Coach Austin did a great job with the return units to block better, but Perk gained some confidence, and that was something that all these guys, whether it's Perk or whether it's Connor Wentz or, you know, those young guys that played, boy, that was a big confidence booster for those guys to have success on a Saturday.
More impressive with Carson is 5 TD passes or a buck and then shot yesterday.
How about that? The fact that he goes out and does that after playing a full game, you know, that's the thing that's so neat. We used to have captains meetings on Sunday, and about 6 weeks ago, and he said, "Coach, I've got a lot of plans on Sunday. Can we move those to Monday?" And sure, now you bet, we can do whatever you guys need to do. And that was pretty neat. But to throw 5 touchdown passes, especially after throwing a couple of interceptions, it just goes to show you the character of that guy, and the fact that he doesn't panic, he doesn't get down. He's, hey, let's move forward. And I thought you guys, that's as well as he's thrown the football from the second quarter on as I'd seen all year, and that was not an easy place to throw the football, whether it was from the cold or from the wind.
Trey Dempsey, right where you thought he'd be, or even more advanced after what you saw him starting on Saturday?
I was really pleased with Trey. He played some corner and then played some safety after we finally got Heags and Duds out of there. He understands our defense. You know, he's not quite where CJ and Champ are, and that's why he's the third guy, but he gives us something, and he stepped up in a critical role on the road. It's kind of similar to what Champ had to do last year when Marcus got hurt. You know, Marcus missed a few of those games, and Jordan Champion, I don't know if it was his first start, but I know his first road game, I think, was at Youngstown and played exceptionally well. So for Trey to do that on the road, I was really happy for him, and it's going to help us moving forward.
Does he have the potential to be as explosive as Shepard was?
Pardon me?
Does he have the potential to be as explosive as Shep was for you guys?
Not quite yet. He's not as thick, not as not as strong. Shep was so strong. Trey needs some work still in the weight room, but he's extremely fast. But he's 167 pounds, where Shep was 185, 187. That's a big difference.
Chris, can I get back to senior class? I mean, people have these rankings, but this group's got to be one of the better ever in FCS history. And I don't know how you categorize
I don't know
that.
how you would either, but if you can have potential to win 4 straight conference titles, and the amount of wins that they've had, the amount of big wins that these guys have had, not to mention the national championships, all those other things, and the impact that these guys have had on the underclassmen is where I see it, especially this year where we were playing a bunch of seniors, some juniors and sophomores, but a lot of young guys that had not played, even the even the juniors, even the Carson Wentz's and stuff that hadn't played for this senior group to kind of take hold of this football team like they did from winter conditioning when Coach Kramer had them take their leadership groups to spring ball. And you got to realize a lot of those guys, especially on defense, didn't even participate in spring ball. They were just coaches. They just coached on the field and then lead them through the summer and the fall. Yeah, you're right. What these guys have done is remarkable.
You said the big wins. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
What are they? Is there some off the field stuff too that makes them what they are? It seems like you got a lot of all academic guys and those kind of things.
They're well-rounded guys. You're right. They're they take their academics really seriously. I think Ryan will be able to get you this. Maybe 6 or 7 are graduating in December. I think we have quite a few that are graduating in December. And the things they do community service-wise, the things they do off the field from a leadership standpoint, it's a special group, and they took great ownership in this team once there was a bunch of change from obviously the head coach to a number of assistants. They said we're going to keep this thing going, and you always think, well, it's going to come from within, whether it's the head coach or coordinators that are new or assistant coaches. It comes from your senior class. And this senior class took it upon themselves to say, we're going to have the opportunity to do something really special this year, and we have that opportunity starting Saturday again.
You said that they have all of these huge wins, not to mention the national championships. Is there one that you really mark for these guys as their huge win, their big accomplishment on the field?
There's so many of them, but I think the Iowa State win for this senior class, when there was so much unknown about our team, except for a lot of the guys within our locker room that said, I think we have a chance to be a pretty good team. That was, I think that validated a lot of things that they had done from the time I was named through spring ball and summer and so on and so forth, that we're gonna make sure this team is ready to go, and that we give ourselves a chance to win. I thought that was a really special win for those guys.
I know a lot throughout the course of the season. Not a lot of gets talked about with the scout team and how important that is to prepare. With these young guys that you've seen, how important has it been for, like Jeff mentioned, that class to rub off on these guys as they go through scout and try to get involved in the program?
Well, it's such a huge factor for us to have those scout team guys, but last week was probably the neatest as far as our guys went outside on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and it was miserable in Fargo, especially on Wednesday, weather-wise. And to see those scout team guys go out there and practice as hard as they did, giving us a great look, because the guys that were playing were running around, flying around, having fun. Weren't out there going, oh, it's cold, we got to get through an hour, guys. They were running around, having fun, laughing and joking before we blew that horn. That horn blew, and it was time to go to work. And it was, as the week went on, and there were some guys that had it all week. Our older kids ended up having sleeves on, and our kids that were redshirted were still Stanley Jones and guys like Stanley, Levi, Marlette. I can name several of them. Went out there the whole week without sleeves on and said, no, this is the way it's supposed to be. Now, a lot of those are upper Midwest guys, but I thought that was really cool, because the seniors basically said, hey, guys, we don't care where we're practicing. We've got to have a great prep week to give ourselves a chance to win on the road, and that was a critical win for us.
You gonna be inside this week?
No. We're outside today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Unless you can get that bubble inflated here in the next 7 or 8 hours.